I want to talk for a moment about another shadow side of the Leonine archetype. So I spoke to what happens when the artist, the creator, the inner child is not nurtured, is not nourished, when the creative gifts and the creative self-expression and the heart of that creator, that inner child, is not affirmed, is not attributed value. This results in a propensity to then try to stamp out the creative gift, the creative spark, the joy, the innocence in others. That is one shadow side of the Leonine archetype. But another shadow side of the Leonine archetype is what I see as being grossly, grossly magnified in the collective right now relative to what passes for artistry. So the archetype of Leo is associated with the artist. As I said, the creator, the creative gifts. Right now, we, by my perception, are living in a culture which glorifies this idea of artistry, which I would argue is utterly lacking in any artistry, in the sense that what passes for artistry isn't inherently original, unique. In other words, by my perception, there's a lot of cookie cutter. There's a lot of one thing sounding like another thing. There's a lot of overly produced in terms of having so many digital components that the spark of the individual soul, of the individual heart, of the individual human is not there anymore. It's been processed out. The consumeristic model has made it so that many artists have chosen whatever's profitable over whatever's authentic. This to me is not true artistry. The other shadow side of the Leonine archetype is when that creator is affirmed beyond an impetus for constructive growth. In other words, in a culture within which hitting a certain number of likes or hitting a certain number of views is what passes for valuable creation, valuable content, it's whatever's attention grabbing that is affirmed. Or let's say in the case of, in a young creative's life, if they're just receiving positive affirmation but not that goes beyond what's realistic. This is another way in which the creative ego gets built up beyond what would actually serve its growth. So the flip side of the shadow Leo expression of targeting someone's creative expression, dampening someone's joy, is to the flip side taking one's own means of expression and putting it on top of a pedestal that's like freaking 1,000,000 feet high. Whether it's, well, not whether it's worth it or not, but in a way which is inherently ranking artistic expression, when true artistic expression, true creation, is being an expression of the soul, being a means of soul growth and evolutionary processing, is beyond what can be ranked. But and also there's such a thing as, like, I'm thinking about an artist like Prince, for example. Someone through whom it's so clear that musical genius is just streaming through, you know? Even though it's true that artistic expression is subjective, and thus subjectively received and assessed, there is, I believe, a way of relating to or understanding objectively where there is creative genius. And I'm sorry, if my time in Los Angeles didn't show it to me, I mean, just literally taking stock of what, again, the creative landscape at this moment in time. Left, right, and center are people proclaiming their creative genius rather than allowing for others to behold their creative genius. And it's because those who are proclaiming creative genius, there isn't actually creative genius there at all. There's just the need to insist upon oneself, the need to put oneself upon a pedestal. This is Shadow Leo. This is what we're growing out of as we embrace the other side of the spectrum, which is Aquarius, and entering into this age of Aquarius.